Today we're going to talk about cerebral palsy and femoral torsion. I'm only doing this because I love tennis and you're getting the legs today, so I just wore shorts for this show. I've done this before, I've covered this enough. I have femoral torsion on both my legs. What does that mean? My femurs don't line up with my leg. So what happened was, and you can see it right there, I was born with club feet. I don't have cerebral palsy, but I was born with club feet. I was 10 pounds, 6 ounces, 2 weeks overdue, and came out like a butterball turkey. That was the great descriptions of my birth. But I had Dennison bars put on my feet. So the bars are the white boots with the bar in between. So as you can see, and then I actually didn't walk till I was 21 months. So I crawled. So I really stand on my knees. I don't stand on my feet. So you could say, oh, I'm knock-kneed, but what it is, you have to look at the load, and I'm going to show you variations of load. So I don't load over my foot. If I do, I really have to torque my whole back to do that. I also have very low ischiums. If you saw my x-rays, my sit bones are about this big. So like ballet or those kind of things where I had to go and spread and stretch, like I couldn't do it. And this is why I'm a big advocate of the pubic bone strike and all of that. So when you're looking at the legs, so when you have femoral torsion, so now I have to decide how I'm going to load. If the step is too much in proportion, I'm not saying I'm weak. I don't have the load. The structure's not there. So if I went like this and went like that trying to get up, like I don't even know how to get up on something like that. I mean, I can do it, but I need really good balance and finesse. Well, our kids don't have that kind of balance. So when I'm getting up like this is actually how I load, and I kind of rotate that way. So my angle is over my foot that way. But I can't do something like this and just push to get up. And that's also the big thing too that people don't realize with cerebral palsy. You don't push on your feet to get up. So if I'm sitting down, and everybody can do this, if I'm sitting here and I just push on my feet, you can't do it, and nor can your child. This isn't how we get up. We actually have a skeletal buoyancy, right? And that's what gets us up. So when you're looking at something like that, now I'm a gym rat, I'm really, muscular, but it's not about strength, it's load. It's the structure of movement. So if you're looking at something like this where I'm getting up and I have uneven surfaces, I have to do these with the way my feet are. My feet will generally go out and that kind of thing. Again, you can see the crookedness, but I can't do something like all of like that. This is hard. I just don't have the structure within my body. Now I know how to what's called overcompensate and do all these things so I'm around, but if you just slow-mo this thing, you'll really just see how crooked my legs are. At the gym, I don't do squats. I just don't have the loads for them. I'll do leg presses, and then I do variations of leg presses. So I can always work on these muscles around my legs and the movement needed around, because muscles don't create movement, they respond to movement. But again, so too, when I go to squat down, I have no place to go. So these people that can squat, like I look like a duck laying an egg, versus someone that could just have a pubic bone strike and squat. It's just not available for me. I'm putting a severe amount of strains on my outer leg, my thighs. So please, when you have AFOs, and I understand the use and need of AFOs, I understand the use and the need of the Dennison bars, but again, you can see it from here. These are bars on my feet. My legs now go nice and straight to here, and this is where I crawled for 21 months. This is where my legs are happy. I actually stand on my knees, not on my feet. But even like this to get down, you can see the crookedness. I roller skate, I drive a car, I do things, but I have to overcompensate everything in my whole life. If I ever had to replace either my knee or my hip, they're going to have to put me back crooked, because that's what I know. So what happened was when they did the Dennison bars, nobody looked at my hips. And this created the stress here. By doing this and bringing in, and And I can't tell you, too, how many days I've cried because I get yelled at by my parents to walk with my feet straight and that kind of thing. I also have very flat feet. It wasn't my fault, right? It's just the way it is. We're not perfect, but you have to watch it when you're using structural changes on your child if it's putting stress other places. Nobody was watching me. When I say that kids need to be evaluated, guys, it's from personal experience, right? I shouldn't have grown up like this. They shouldn't have done this to my legs. But nobody was watching it to make sure I had the structure for development. They all just said, look, she doesn't have club feet anymore, which thank God I don't have that. But, you know what I mean? They still had a whole can of worms that they worked on with me. They actually wanted to put, if you don't believe I have flat feet, so I'll do the whole thing again quickly with no shoes on. So on top of that, I have really flat feet. So, and that's fine. I always have sneakers on. And so again, when I don't have shoes on, this is my load. Right? So the shoes actually help me a bit, almost like what you would do for AFOs. So, but I did karate with bare feet, so I'm used to that, and I can drip more and have that quickness. But again, if you slowed this down, you would see my crooked legs. So again, when we have femoral torsion, it's not necessarily the cerebral palsy, but now you have that. Oh, by the way, I will show you one more thing too, as far as the load goes. You're thinking it's a little curb. Look at the proportions of your curb. Like, look at the proportions of a slide that your kid's on compared to what we would need for our height. This kind of load is really tough. So if I have to do this, I actually have to go into my thigh and hold it, right? And brace that to come up. And that's where you're seeing her hesitation to go down. Because again, the load just goes. It's not that I'm not capable, you just saw what I can do. This is going outside. Like, I can't jump onto this box. I don't have the jumping capabilities. Because when most people jump, they go here. I go like this when I jump. You really see, it's funny too when I go on swings. I pump, like on swings like this, sideways. I can't pump through the center. So my conversions are off and things like that. Again, I could sit there and say, poor me, poor me. You'll never hear that out of my mouth. Remember, one of the things that I'm very big at is this is about possibilities and learning how to work around your system versus limitations. Thanks.